My name is Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. He's young, 20 years, yeah?
Why you gotta watch it and find out. Well, one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
In this fight, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
Fighters are beginning to speak out about just how terrifying Moses Itauma is in the ring. At only 20 years old, he's already earning the respect of top heavyweights, including Tyson Fury, who praises his power, focus, and discipline. Fury notes that Moses is a fast learner who listens well and punches with serious force. Taking on someone like Dillian Whyte at such a young age is a bold statement of his confidence and raw talent. Many now see Moses not just as a promising prospect, but as a real danger in the heavyweight division.
Good fight, actually, especially for Moses. I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out of the ring. But, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher. It's a head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him. And looking forward to the fight. It's a big step up for Moses because he hasn't really fought anybody on Dillian's level. The old Dillian, it was a couple of years ago. And it's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. And that's why you got to watch it and find out. Well, one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge. You tell him something, he absorbs it and he listens. And that's the great thing about the young kid team who's coming up. And he's only 20 years old. I told him a few years ago, forget about breaking records, take your time, you've only got one career, and just enjoy it because I remember when I was 19, 20, and now 36 has gone.
Alexander Usyk, widely regarded as one of the most technically gifted boxers of his era, recently expressed high praise for Moses Itauma in an interview. Usyk described Moses as a strong, mature, and highly promising young fighter, for someone of Usyk's stature who has faced and defeated the best in the world to recognize. Moses speaks volumes about the 20-year-old's talent. Usyk's admiration not only highlights Moses's raw power, but also underscores his composure and professionalism, qualities rarely seen in someone so early in their career.
My name is Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. He's young, 20 years, yeah?
20.
Yeah, 20 years. I think Itauma have...
Moses Itauma's coach recently shared a revealing detail about the young heavyweight, his deep passion for boxing history. Much like Mike Tyson, Moses doesn't limit himself to watching old fight tapes. He dives into the lives, struggles, and techniques of the legends who paved the way. He studies how they built their legacies, showing a rare dedication that sets him apart from most young fighters focused only on today's competition. This hunger to understand the roots of the sport reflects how seriously he takes his craft. His relentless drive to grow both mentally and physically gives him a depth and maturity far beyond his 20 years.
I think probably the biggest comparison I would say is how Mike Tyson loved the game, would always study fighters of the past, etc. Moses has that same love for it.
Does he?
Yeah, like we'll send him his sparring at 2 a.m. He'll be texting us clips like, is this more what you want?
He's a student.
Yeah, he absolutely loves it. And that's that, along with his maturity at his age.
Very composed, isn't he? Very composed. Yeah.
That is what is allowing him to achieve what he's achieving at such a young age.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of talented fighters out there, but not many that
Can execute it on the back of it, yeah.
It's no surprise that Moses Itauma is already drawing comparisons to a young Mike Tyson, with his aggressive style, explosive power punches, and remarkable maturity in the ring. Many believe he's on a fast track to a world title before the age of 21, a rare feat in boxing. His physical presence, speed, and confidence evoke memories of Tyson's early days when he steamrolled opponents with sheer dominance. While the weight of such comparisons could overwhelm most young fighters, Moses remains unfazed, choosing to let his performances speak louder than the hype.
Is Moses Itauma being baby? Jared Anderson had better opposition in his first 12 fights than Moses Itauma. Guaranteed without a doubt. Guaranteed without a doubt. He had better opposition. But Jared gets criticized, and here we have a guy like Moses being called potentially the next Mike Tyson. They believe he can win a world title under 21 years.
Moses Itauma didn't become this skilled overnight. By the age of 18, it was clear to many that he was already a polished, technically sharp fighter. With hundreds of amateur bouts under his belt, he had developed the experience and ring IQ of someone far beyond his years. His footwork, defense, and crisp combinations showed he was made for the professional stage long before his debut. That early commitment laid a rock-solid foundation, making his current rise seem almost effortless. While most young fighters take years to find their footing, Moses stepped into the pro ranks looking like he had always belonged.
So young, to be as athletic as he is, look as polished as he is. Bear in mind, I interviewed Moses Itauma before his pro debut, and one of the questions I really wanted to ask him was how many amateur fights he'd had. For someone who looked so polished, I was turning pro so young, bear in mind he'd only just turned 18 at the time, right? This is 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. I really wanted to know how many amateur fights he had to look as polished as he did. And in that interview, he told me it was something like 22, 23 amateur fights, which is really, it's quite a low amount. It was a bit of a kind of land when he said it. I remember at the time thinking, huh? And then obviously you're interviewing, so you want to try and get the next question. You don't want to be just stopped in your tracks, but it genuinely nearly did stop me in my tracks. Given how polished he looked and how good he looked, you know, I was thinking, yikes, that's actually a bit of a strange one for someone to look that polished in such short of a time. And he's obviously been fighting good amateurs, and obviously he's not one of these amateurs like Anthony Yard, no offense, who had 10 amateur fight against low level, probably wasn't doing a great deal of sparring, but just had that natural ability. Alright,
Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora questioned the wisdom behind Dillian Whyte agreeing to face rising star Moses Itauma. He pointed out that while Dillian has been inactive, Moses is constantly evolving, improving with every training camp. At just 20 years old, Moses is gaining serious momentum, sharpening his technique, and building real power. Chisora warned that despite his age, Moses shouldn't be underestimated. His hunger, style, and strength give him a real edge. His concern, it wasn't just about Dillian's ring rust, but about how quietly dangerous Moses has become. When experienced fighters start expressing caution, it's a clear sign that the threat is very real.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. You know, I said, how much? He said, 2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light in that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Cody said, Moses is back.
As talks intensify around a potential clash between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte, the boxing world finds itself split. Many see Moses as the most promising young heavyweight today, while others warn that facing someone like Dillian might be too big of a leap this early in his career. Dillian brings years of experience and has battled some of the division's Elaton edge Moses has yet to earn. But what Moses lacks in experience, he makes up for with youth, speed, and razor-sharp skills. The matchup is shaping up to be the ultimate test for both men, a chance for Dillian to silence the hype, and for Moses to prove he belongs among the sport's elite.
Can he still use them? It's a common opinion that Moses is a great prospect. He's got all the talent in the world, but as a professional, he's untested. I think Dylan sees this as a perfect opportunity to shut the hype train on Itauma, beat this young prospect who everyone's shouting about and get the light back on him. But the problem is, if he loses, he's got nowhere to go. It's game over. But this is boxing. High risk, high reward, or scrambling at the bottom of the heap. We know that Moses wanted to beat Mike Tyson's record in becoming the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, but he's missed that now. So we know he wants to move fast and test himself. He's reaching for greatness, but as the saying goes, you can't put an old head on young shoulders. So maybe he's biting off more than he can chew. From his point of view, beating a veteran like Dillian Whyte will give him credibility. Put him in the mix with the top guys. I'm definitely a fan of Moses. He's got the skill, the talent, the work ethic, and the mindset. The only thing he lacks is experience. And I suppose the only way to get it is to fight these guys. In the fight business, you've got to have thick skin, because there's always going to be doubters. It's part of the game. Personally, I don't see the rush. There's so many good fights, even at domestic level. He's only 20. I just feel he's got time on his side. He needs time to mature. Heavyweights don't mature to the late 20s. I just see so much value going the traditional route. English, British, Commonwealth, European, then world honours. In my opinion, it's so important. That's your apprenticeship. Gradually learning the game, gaining experience, and each time you pass the test, you step up. This type of progression builds the foundations.
Boxing analyst Spencer Oliver stressed that fans have only seen a glimpse of how dangerous Moses Itauma truly is. With Dillian Whyte now lined up as a potential opponent, Oliver sees this as Moses' biggest test to date. He explained that facing a seasoned, heavy-hitting veteran like Dillian will expose just how complete Moses really is. While Oliver believes Moses has all the tools, he expects Dillian to challenge him in ways he's never experienced before. This fight isn't just a risk, it's a major opportunity. Unlike most young fighters who take the slow route, Moses is accelerating his path, aiming to prove himself on the world stage. Fans are rallying behind him, hoping he can overcome Dillian and earn global respect. Regardless of the outcome, the experience Moses gains here will be something no training session can ever replicate.